Hey, what's up, everybody? I know this has been a great time to be alive, share content, feelings, and everything on social media. And I'm your boy Victor Vincent with Accountable Masculinity, and I'm here to end the gender war. That's what my content is centered on, especially in this particular episode. I got a chance to be a member of a panel on the super panel with Ilkhan Ali and Fatty. So I appreciate them, giving me a chance to be on their platform. So I'm going to, let you guys see what we discussed last week and leave your feedback in the comments and let me know what I need to work on.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening to a special edition of the Super Panel, the Untouchable Super Panel. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing well. We have a couple of guests that are late, but we can't let our people waiting anymore. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start. Before, once again, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate y'all. Please go ahead and like the video. The likes are for free. Support the show. We have multiple people streaming for multiple destinations. So if you enjoying the content that you're watching, support the content creator that is streaming for their destinations. I want to uh, present the host of the show, Mr. Ilkan Ali, in the build. How are you doing, sir? We have the lovely Didi. She's in the building. Thank you very much, Didi. We have, of course, Uncle Rick is in the building. Salute to you. We have the lovely Akua. I think I'm saying the name correctly. I'm trying my best. So thank you very much for being here. And finally, accountable masculinity. Thank you very much for being here.
Appreciate it.
So we are going to start with a quick icebreaker. All the links of the content creators that are going to be on the show are already pinned in the description. If we get new people that are probably not scheduled to be here, we're still going to add them immediately on the description. So if you want to find Didi, Akua, Rick, accountable masculinity, Ali, you can go to the description of the show and check that out. Okay. So let me go ahead and let me this is the icebreaker. What do you guys think about this?
Leading, but they're a terrible leader. I mean, I'm sure you've met men that suck as leaders, right? If you have a man that's leading, they can get real rough. So if you have a man that's leading, but they're a terrible leader, and the wife is submitting, but it's a terrible leader, so they go somewhere terrible. You don't.
The audio is a little bit muffled, but he's asking, should a woman, like, what if a woman is with somebody that is a terrible leader, right? And I'm going to keep playing, but the justice is asking to the crowd, what if he is a terrible leader? Shout out to Jay the Bell podcast. You've been very nice to us. So thank you very much. Where he is in our video. You can find the credit in the description too.
Want that, right? You prefer it even if they're not leading, if their wife is keeping them in check, if their husband's keeping her in check, they're working together. That's more important than a man leading.
I'm doing my hair right now, but I want to answer this. Now, I'm submitted to Christ first, and then my man. And if he is trying to lead me to hell, I will not submit and I will not follow you there. I will follow all orders except those that lead me away from Christ. Now, because of my submission to Christ first, that's essentially what I'm submitting to in him. A man that's submitted to Christ, I am submitted to you because you follow Christ, therefore I follow you. For example, if he said, I want to get into my African roots and start praying to some African god, and we're going to bring that to this home, I will say, I rebuke you, demon, get out. My only leadership position is just to lead him back to Christ if he starts to follow Satan, or if he starts to follow his flesh and his fleshly desires. By me staying committed and submitted to Christ, hopefully you can inspire the one that is turning away from Christ to come back into position. I'm going to give
My question to the people on the panel, and I'm going to take religion out of it, is uh, should most women follow most men in relationships? We always talk about the top tier man, the high value man, the good. Should most women follow most men in 2025 when it comes to relationships. I want actually I was going to go ladies first, but let me actually go to accountable masculinity, because I want to hear from you first to kind of understand what we have here. Should most women follow most men when it comes to relationships?
I think it just depends on behavior. Um, if the man has the behavior that keeps the situation safe, that she can function and have clear understanding about what's going on, I think that's more important than anything. As far as like most, I would say um, probably not in the current state of things, because I think you have to look at the outcomes of where we are as far as like dating, gender war, and everything. I'm going to say that most men don't reflect what most women look to for leadership, and but it has a lot of nuances built into it. You got a lot of men that's raised by women, so they don't understand, you know what I'm saying, that leadership aspect of it. It's a lot of fatherless households, and then a lot of poor sexual discipline. So the metrics for grading, and evaluating, auditing a man's ability to lead, where are the women getting their examples from? So it's a lot of confusion, you know what I'm saying, in that dynamic, in my opinion, that the majority of people in the dating pool conversation that make up about what 70% of men and women, they're single parents, and they're probably raised by single parents, so they haven't seen um, credible leadership in their own households, or seeing their fathers married. They haven't seen their mothers married. And then they're looking at this societal pool of people too that might have the same behaviors.
So you would say no. You'd
Yes.
say that most women shouldn't follow most men.
Yes, I agree with that. Most women shouldn't follow most men. Most women should, like the women that really value a man's leadership, they need to be looking in the smaller pool. Those guys are harder to find, and that's why the dating pool is what it is right now. You know, in that reality, the few men that um that fit what women are looking for, they're in short supply. Because if most men actually did have the leadership traits that women are looking for, there'll be better relationship conversations and dialogue. You know, so I look at what's the what's the conversation like around the topic, and how does that conversation pair with the question that you just asked. And from social media, I could say that most men don't qualify to, that meet a woman's criteria, you know what I'm saying, on the surface.
Mm. Uh, Let me go to Didi. Didi, do you agree, disagree, and what's your take? Should most women follow most men in 2025 when it comes to relationships?
I mean, I guess it depends. I kind of agree with what accountable masculinity said in a sense. Um, the man has to demonstrate leadership first off. If he's demonstrating that he can lead you in a proper way and lead you in a way that's necessary, then yes, you should follow. But if he's not doing that, if he's not showing that, if he's not capable or showing that he's capable of leading you in a way that is beneficial to the overall goal, then no, I don't think you should, because that's I mean, that's not going to be beneficial. So it just boils down to the person. If they're because most men who are leaders, they lead by example, so they're gonna already show you that. But if they're not, then no, I don't think you should just follow somebody that's leading you to a path of destruction. You know what I'm saying? You have to really understand what it is that your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish together. So if he's not doing that, then no, I don't think you should just blindly follow. No.
Mm. Let me get Uncle Rick here real quick. Ricky, what do you think?
Uh,
Should
honestly,
most women follow most men when it comes to relationships in 2025?
I'd say yes, to be honest. I mean,
What?
what for me to say no, they shouldn't would imply that most women alone do better by themselves, and I think that's a false dichotomy.
Mm.
right? I love the way when we speak on these things that we put the women as if they're overly exceptional. They're not. So if they were a man with a little bit more sense than them, shouldn't they get a better outcome? But hey, what do I know?
Akua, do you think most women should follow most men in
So
relationship
I
2025?
right. So I definitely agree with a mixture of what everyone has said so far. I would say ideally the man should lead. Um, I have a son, I have two sons and one daughter. I would never be raising my son to look for a woman that could lead him, and my daughter looking to lead her husband. But I would want her able to lead. I would want her to fit in where she get in, and my son do the same thing. So ideally, right? But I also understand there's some dynamics where it depends on what within the relationship someone is leading upon. I might be better at weapons, maybe have a history of weapon training. So I might lead that in the relationship, the security aspect in terms of weapons, but my husband finances. Like it really depends on the household. And I think sometimes people bump heads because maybe the man um, is not willing to accept what the woman could offer. So he could be a better leader. You know what I mean? And then that's when a woman is sitting there dormant, allowing herself to be led into some sewer somewhere. But yeah, overall, that's what I would say. Ideally, yeah.
Let me go to Ali. I'll go last. Ali, what do you think about?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what a leader's supposed to be, a person who directs guys or influences, just in the beginning of that, when and we keep weaponizing this word, when you're looking at the way men and women conduct themselves, typically men are just going physicality, bigger, stronger. But then when you're going into the direction that a lot of men typically want to move towards, I believe most men have some type of integrity of wanting to be righteous. And when you're looking at the divide in our communities, ever since we disconnected from the man being in the home, and we've had a prevalent amount of single mother homes that's where women are leading themselves, all the things that we see where women are going left, where children are going left, is typically when children are following the direction of their mothers. So most of the times we'll see, even directed, if you are religious from the Bible, typically men are about order, and a lot of sisters engage in disorder. So when you have the man in her life leading her, whether he has finances or no finances, typically they're about righteousness. So I would think the man is still more qualified. Most men too are qualified to be a leader.
I just have a couple of questions, right? It's you picked him. Just the fact that you pick him is qualified to be a leader because you picked him. You sleep with him, you had kids with him, you sleep on the same bed, you present it to your family. Just the fact that you pick someone makes them qualified, because if he wasn't unqualified, that's on you. And the second thing is the word allow. If I'm a soldier and the person in front of me is my general or my captain, who am I to say he's leading the wrong way? And I think a lot of relationships a lot of times fall into our times because the right way is the woman way. Is you are not doing what I want you to do, so I deem you unqualified to lead me, even though I actually say you should be the leader of the house. I never see a man saying, if I say A and you see B, you are a faulty follower. I'll try to explain to you why am I doing these things, right? So it kind of sounds like woman if like I heard the word allow. I will allow you to lead. I say these, Ali says these, Rick. Women are in charge of relationships in 2025. Because the predisposition is I'm going to choose a man that is going to lead me my way. We're going to follow my dreams. We're going to go to the destination I want. And as soon as that man deviates from the destination the woman wants, now the relationship is in jeopardy because you are a bad leader. No, it's just not doing something that you want to do. Nobody wants you. That, like we're talking about we're in a few moments we're going to talk about the like toxic relationships and the dangers that pursuing bad people actually can cost to you. But most people are not abusers. Most people are not going to l- set your house on fire or tell you, yeah, you go ahead and sleep on. Like most people just have regular lives, and the most of their quarrels is, you want to go to Rome, I want to go to Paris. We have to figure out how we doing this. You want the renovation, the kitchen renovation this month. I want them on next year. What are we going to do about this? Our kid is misbehaving. I think we should this. You think you should that. Like it's very small things. It's never some very let's change countries, let's your mama on elder out. Like usually it's not like that. So why would the woman pick a man, sleep with him, have kids with him, do all these things with him, and then deem him not fit enough to be a leader? And once again, I will exclude the Kanye West of this life. Okay, that just are just crazy. They just go out of completely out of the reservation. Why would a woman pick a man that is not suitable to be a leader? And then I will get you next. Okay. Actually, let me get you. Uh, and you have like a weird little noise in the back. Let me see if I can. Yeah, because it was super loud. No, don't mute yourself. Unmute yourself, please. Okay. Let me do 1, 2, 3 testing. I think that's good. Should most women follow most men in relationships when it comes like in 2025?
Yes.
And why?
Why should a woman
Yes.
follow a man?
Why should
Generally-
most women? Why should
generally
most? And I think you have a little bit of delay. When you hear the number 5, say pineapple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Pineapple.
2-second delay. Okay, so I'm going to let you go and interrupt it. Go ahead.
Yes, women should follow men in modern relationships for 2 reasons. The first is men have always, at least when you enter a committed relationship with them, benefited or led relationships in a way that benefit women. Her entire life experience will be enhanced if she trusts in his leadership. And I assume if she chose him, then he's already been not chose him, but if she was willing to give her body and her energy and commit to him, then obviously he's a qualified leader. And ultimately, it doesn't make sense for us to do both roles. Like, if you're entering a relationship with a man, let him do his masculine role, and it benefits you 90% of the 99.9% of the time. I think it makes life easier when you trust in the leadership of men. Women ultimately get to relax more, I think.
And do you have like YouTube on the back or something like that?
No.
Because it's like we can hear a little bit of an echo.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah, I'm using my MacBook phone.
Is the bottom of the sometimes the mic, if the mic's on the surface, it'll kind of sound
If
weird.
the mic is too close to the surface, it's going to reverb back, like it's going to echo back to the thing. Can you give me a 1, 2, 3 testing now?
1, 2, 3 testing.
Now is good. I don't know if he's
okay, tech support.
Yeah, but
that's
crazy.
the new that's the new one, right? You know they made that emoji.
No way.
Yeah, they did.
That's tech support. I better get my check by the end of the show.
Thank you.
So the Akua and accountable masculinity, right? Is it fair for a woman to follow a man or to choose a man that she doesn't trust to lead him? Like, is it fair to criticize that man when the woman went out of her way to actually choose the dude that she like? Is that?
I agree. I agree with you when you said you picked him. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's both sides to everything, right? It's not completely one person's fault. A lot of women they choose men that chase vagina and then get shocked that they have a lot of infidelity issues in a relationship. And you tried to get monogamy out of somebody that had duplicitous relationships, and if they're raised in a hypersexual environment, then you're going to get a hypersexual individual. So when you talk about like why relationships have these spaces where they just can't be healthy, it's because of usually extra basic stuff that involve sexual discipline in most cases, because the relationships aren't failing at they're not progressing far enough to fail over anything that deals with elements outside of self-control. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the main issue when it comes down to why relationships are seen as such a risk, because we're talking more about STDs, babies out of wedlock. Men want families, but they don't want to deal with the risk of divorce. The wealth building conversation, like you got single parents talking about generational wealth, and there ain't no generations. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta have a a well-rounded look at why it's not working, because typically when some things don't work, it's usually something very simple that is ideologically motivated from either side. The women think that their wallet carries the weight of the relationship, and then the men that fit the behavior that I'm talking about, they want to champion the idea of having multiple women, and and then don't want to see the opposite be true for the woman's side. So that's why I say most men, going back to that original question, they're not the leaders that these women are, willing to get behind, but they'll use the men, that they can get attention from. And on the other side of this, there's a lot of women that chase dick, and they're very transactional too. So the issue is amongst the people that don't have any sexual discipline, and they're usually raised by the same type of parents.
Would you, if you were to give majority 51% guilt and point to the part of the puzzle that is kind of pushing a little bit more the dysfunction of the other part, would you put men on the forefront or the woman?
I would say, you mean as far as like the
if we assume
the sexual discipline conversation,
if we assume that the dating market is actually, let's go with that. Let's go with the sexual discipline, right? Which part would you think is more guilty when it comes?
Okay, let's base it off of this. Who has the most children out of wedlock with the most with the opposite partner? Is it men or women?
Women.
And they're having sex with the same guys, right? And most men don't have children. And most of those women are competing for sexual attention from the same men, right?
Right. Blackdemographics.com says women have over 1 million more kids than black men do.
Okay, so the numbers that I know is that 75% of women have their children out of wedlock with 16% of men. So that's a 5-to-1 ratio. So the numbers say that the women have more responsibility in that, because unless men are just running around and taking vagina from women all over the place and making babies, that sounds like the onus is on the women that's choosing the men. If you want to be baby mama number 3 through 8, that's a choice. But if most men don't have children, then the sexual discipline conversation needs to be had differently with women than it does men. And the men that are single fathers make up half of what, the women that make up only a percentage of what the weight of the single mothers are. So if women are competing for the same man and then blaming all other men for fidelity issues, they got to really they need to have a conference to see who really is the issue. Men, I don't have any kids. How many guys up here got kids?
I got 2.
You got them with the same woman?
Nah, I got 3 baby mamas.
Okay.
I'm joking. You know I can't have 2 kids with 3 babies. Yes, man, they the same woman. I'm
you
joking.
know what I'm saying? Hey, we just gonna go all the way through.
I know you're about to do the math, man. Come on.
No, I definitely want to do the math on that.
Nah, it's the same-
I was
it's the
gonna let
same-
I was gonna let the chat deal with that. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, same woman, man, same woman.
Yeah,
I
but
got 2 kids from the same woman.
yeah. So how many men do you know that got multiple kids by multiple women personally in your network?
In my network,
we are YouTubers, so we kind of know a bunch of them. But
Yes,
not
but
right.
do you have more men in your network that don't have kids, or more men that do have kids?
more that don't
That don't right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how many women do you know that don't have any kids at all?
Maybe 1 or 2.
Out
That's
of,
out of all of the women I know.
and most men know a whole bunch of women, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
And
Wow.
it's really simple, man. And so like, well, what's the behavior? Well, so what's the format of the household that produces people that lack sexual discipline? Does it come from a 2-parent home more or a single parent home?
It's a single parent home. No, that's the data. The data show you when you go, if you look at the data, the least amount of teen pregnancies, psychological, social, cognitive issues the least of it come from 2-parent with the father in it. When the mothers oh, go ahead, man.
The reason why I said was because it matters if the father or the person who's a second person is a biological father. If it's a stepfather or just someone mom's dating, still, I think that has impact. But I'm just adding, like the biological father needs to have
right.
But the data isn't even close.
Most men don't have children.
Right, and that's just a byproduct. You know what I'm saying? It's a byproduct.
So the conversation is really limited to 16% of men.
Wow.
Only 25% of men are married. Over 50% of men don't have children. Some of the last data I saw. So we need to package this conversation up with the men that have children first.
But aren't girls raised to be mothers from the very beginning? Isn't that like it's included in your toys? It's including in your life goals. Boys aren't raised to be fathers since they're small children. So I don't think
because I think that's a false
dichotomy. The same.
I think that's false. I think that's false.
You don't think that girls are raised to be mothers?
No. I think
with baby dolls and playing
no.
They play vanity games.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
Everybody got excited.
I know a lot of little girls who can't wait to be mothers.
No, Uncle Ricky gonna go, right? But Akua, if about 20-30 years ago, I could probably try to give you that. But today it's a whole different. I'll let Uncle Ricky go. I'll shed light on that in a little bit as well too.
I didn't say good or bad. I'm just saying in terms of those titles and toys and things that are marketed to girls, motherhood is marketed. So I know
not at all.
Just real quick. Are they? Hold on, Ann. Are they being raised to be mothers or baby mothers?
I would say baby mamas. I mean, just raised to be a woman who has a child.
Baby mama.
And it's a problem. It's a problem, but it's a problem that needs to be on the table if we're talking about just the mere desire. Women try to trap men with babies as well.
Mm-hmm.
That happens quite often. So what I'm looking at is dissecting why that number exists. I don't think it's just because women are like hot in the pants necessarily.
Yes, they are.
They weaponize sex for sure.
Yes, they are.
Go ahead, Uncle Ricky. Go ahead, Uncle Ricky. And then cool, you can respond right back to him.
Again, these are false dichotomies that we adopt. Most girls like getting fucked. Especially when it's
women, because I have a daughter.
Girls, women, like let's keep. We grown. We ain't got to play the semantic games here, right? We grown, right? Most girls are having sex before their 16th birthday. Is that fair?
Yes, that's why they run away from home too.
Right? Is that fair? Let me know if I'm off. I'm kind of old.
To be most women in high school are definitely either very close to it or already did it.
Exactly. Yeah. But let's get back on the point of what you're speaking about the daughters learning to be mothers. No, they're not learning to be mothers. They're learning to play house.
Wow.
Right? They're learning to play house. It's a difference between getting lessons of how you actually handle and rear children.
But
right?
that's what I said. I said the
Respons-
desire doesn't
The-
validate it or say
no.
if it's being done correctly, but the
So-
desire for motherhood, the attraction to it is what I'm talking about.
But again, the desire to do something doesn't mean that you have knowledge of it, or that you're going to do it well.
Right.
Right. What I'm saying is this: if we want to talk about the real qualities that transpose to parenting, boys are taught how to be husbands from the time they learn what no is.
Really?
Yes, boys are taught we're taught accountability, responsibility off bat.
Yeah. No one's coming to save you.
Off bat.
I vividly remember girls faking pregnancy in school.
Yes, that's true.
But don't you think too that stems from what they see? You see the majority of the single mothers in the household, and they see that and they want to pattern behind that, not fully understanding what that is, at a young age. If you're raised by a single mother, most single mothers create other single mothers.
Yeah,
Correct.
they ain't raised by it.
Where's the excuse? Where's the excuse for the man that needs to be productive in society? That he doesn't have a father, or that he was raised by a man gets no slack. He's not going to get any slack. Either he's going to get chosen or he's going to get rejected by the actual fruits that he proves to you. Right? There's no excuse. And this is what our women continue to do, is use the same excuses that y'all blame us for. Right? I have no excuse. I have to be a man. Either that, and it's either that or I'm going to be discarded.
Brutally.
Right. So give me a second. Right.
Go ahead.
So why is it that our women always having an excuse instead of just being the women that they need to be in mass? It's because y'all always get, not y'all, I'm speaking in general, right? It's because our women always have someone to blame, and it's us.
Well, aren't you all the leaders? I'm just devil's advocate.
No,
I don't believe
but
in,
that's
like,
what I'm talking. But that's what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying?
No, I'm just being the devil. I'm just trying to.
Let me jump right there. This goes back to what I said before. The men that are raised by the women that fit the behavior that we're talking about, what type of men do they raise? If you got a single mother raising boys, what do those boys become? How do they model, masculinity? How do they model fatherhood if they didn't grow up with a dad? It's just like if you wouldn't want to become a better painter by working at a bakery.
Right.
But just because a horse and a zebra have a similar phenotype doesn't mean that they're the same thing.
That's right.
But
it's a lot of men out here that are clones. Y'all, the women that are attracted to those men that are raised by single mothers, they just like characteristics, not character.
But that go back to what y'all was talking about earlier, the men leading. If you're not raised in an environment with a solid, stable mother and father in a household, and you don't have that, that growing up, you don't grow up with that leadership from your father, and you're not taught that, and then you get into a relationship, how can you lead properly if you don't have those examples? And then once again, it's if you're raised in a single mother household and you didn't get that, usually those men grow up and they have a hard time with that, and then they do get blamed for it. But I don't think most people go to the root of the issue of and it goes back to the mothers.
Yes.
Most people talk about the fathers not being there, but they never give the accountability to the mothers who raise these young girls and these young boys to be what they ultimately become. So that is part of the problem. This is why I personally think that a 2-parent household with 2 stable parents in the house is necessary. It is with the father there to help raise that son to be a leader and the man that he needs to be, and the mother teaching the young girls how to be wives, not just women, but how to be wives. And I think that's the part that we're missing in our communities, and that's why it's kind of in shambles. And I do think the men are the ones who get the blame, and the women get a pass. So I think
but that's where the identity crisis comes from. If a mother if kids see a mother emasculate the father, then they have an identity crisis and they think the mother's supposed to lead the household and not the father. So that's where we have all these LGBT issues as well, too, being honest, where boys want to be something else, girls want to be something else, and they're having issues with each other. So if you're watching your mother always running the show, and you and your father not supposed to run the show, then you're gonna think why a lot of men do allow women to lead them is because they're used to their mother always getting the last word, not their father, and their father being talked down to. And then we lose the accountability, because when women don't have to be accountable, they don't have to change. All they have to do is say the man needs to change, the man needs to do work, and they get to still be the same woman and demand a good man.
And you hear women say that all the time. Hey, I watched my mother struggle. She, she took care of everything. She was the leader of it. And so they grow up thinking that is what they have to emulate. And because they watch their mother do it, they think that that's how they have to do it. And so they don't necessarily see the importance of a man. This is why you hear women say they don't need a man. They can do it all by themselves, because you've seen your mother's raise you by herself, and she struggled, even though it was a struggle, because I seen it too. It was a struggle, but for some reason in your mind, you think that that's how you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be the leader. You got to do it all. You don't need a man. And then they lead with that, and they become basically the man, and a man is secondary. And a lot of women don't respect men in that dynamic, because they believe, because that's what they saw. That's what they need to be. But you still want a man.
You know what's crazy, Didi? They try to be the man their mother was looking for, right?
Yeah.
But because they get treated like the woman, the man they was trying to treat them, because they act like their mothers, they end up being just like their mother. Like, think about it. They don't want to be their mother at all. You know how many women come on here in pub, they talk about their mothers, and they say that the mothers hurt the boys and the girls, and they try to be different than their mother, and they try to replace the man she was chasing after. But because she's mistreating the guy, because she doesn't want to be like her mother, wanting to be what this man wants, she ends up being just like her mother, with respectfully, it's like a pig with a lipstick on. She's not trying to be that pig, so she gets her education, she gets her career, she looks like a different type of woman, she's a little bit more regal, she's dressing nicer than her mother, but she's still under all of it, she's still just like her mama.
It's a clone. It's a clone. That's what I keep saying.
Let me get the bottom line from right to left, please, and afterwards, Dr. James uninterrupted. Thank you very much for being here, Doctor. I appreciate it. Go ahead from right to left, and then we go popcorn style again. You got it. Accountable masculinity. You got it.
All right. The all of this conversation just describes how children get produced out of single mother homes with half the software. And so it looks like you're basing relationships off of characteristics, and you're looking at the outward appearance and thinking just because they are a male or a female, that they automatically know what they're supposed to do. You have to be trained. Even the Bible said, train a child up in the way that they shall go, right? And no matter how you feel about religion, that even back then it was important enough to say that children need to be trained. We know dogs need to be trained. We know anything that we protect has to be trained and disciplined. You know what I'm saying? So if you're raised in a different type of structure that lacks discipline, you're gonna see that echo out in the rest of your life as an adult. So, like earlier, you guys mentioned, the men and the women that have identity crisis, right? Well, you can look at a sample size of people that's locked up. Look at all of the guys that's locked up. Do you think they come from 2-parent homes mostly, or single-parent homes?
No,
because the gays and the gangsters are the only ones in the Black community getting raised underneath the same roof. You don't look in a trailer park and see a cousin meth head with his sister, and you know what I'm saying, in a dyke brother or whatever you want to call him. That mixture. This is about sexual discipline ultimately, because if it can create life, it can create chaos. Single mothers are usually from a long line of other single mothers. You don't have like 2 parents, and even when you take one piece and move it here and there, it changes the DNA change. You put a stepfather in the mix, you got a behavioral issue in there somewhere. Do you mix in some alcohol, some drugs, and you start looking at which household model format produces people that come from those environments the most. And then you'll start seeing why people don't trust each other, because they start getting mixed in. You can see it in the kids. You can see how kids are fighting each other. The girls are in crazy competition with each other over the worst men. These women will make a baby with the wrong man before they make a sandwich for the right one. And then blame the man that they chose. And everything it comes back to is that the woman has to allow the man to enter her. So unless men are running around here over sexually crazed and then creating babies through rape and any other type of sexual if their sexual integrity is in question, then we will be having a different conversation. But these children are being brought to the world through consent and competition and unhealthy mindsets. Poor sexual discipline is at the root of everything, you know. And then when you got poor sexual discipline, it's closely tied to poor emotional discipline. You know, when you see the type of women that are single and the behavior, all we got to do is see a woman's behavior and how she has a conversation. We automatically know you don't want that box. You know what I'm saying? That's a rotten soul. You know, that is a demon. And truthfully, the only men that women should pay attention to are men that get respect from each other, because respect is the foundation for a healthy relationship in general. You know, because with respect, you got discipline involved. If there's no respect, there's not going to be any discipline, because everything's transactional at that point. I want
to add to something you said, if I can.
Go ahead.
Sexual discipline, in my opinion, is the onus, I would say, is mostly on the women, in my opinion, just my opinion. Because you know, my body, my choice. I make the choice to who I want to let enter my body. It's my body. I could say yes, I could say no. And like you mentioned, if it's not great and you consent to it, whether it's Pookie, Ray Ray, John, Cooley, and whoever, you consent to it. So I feel I believe that the onus is on the women, because if women were to change that and start being more disciplined with their bodies, we wouldn't have as many single mothers as we have out here. It would change the dynamic. The control that I think women, or not the control, but the empowerment that women say they have, it would be more utilized if they discipline, you know, have more discipline with their bodies. Because if you don't consent to allowing Pookie, Ray Ray, whoever else to enter your body and just don't use no protection, whatever, knock you up, it's not necessary. Now it takes two now, but I think you are the ultimate say. If you say no to him, he gonna have to go somewhere else and try to get it. Yep. If every woman decides, you know what, I'm gonna be more disciplined with my body, I'm gonna wait till marriage before I allow a man to enter. I'm gonna demand respect, and I'm gonna demand, you know, a relationship or whatever, you know, a commitment before I just give you my body because you fine and you cute and I want to do it.
Y'all the life, y'all the living amusement park, respectfully, not in a disrespectful way. It's like when you go to amusement park or roller coasters, you got to be this high to get in this ride, or you got to be this high to get in this ride. So it's for with women, you got to have these characteristics, you got to have these standards, you got to be this caliber of a man, you got to be righteous in order to get inside of this ride. But when women establish that, then the order comes back, because they're going to put what men need to be in order to get inside you. Like, the woman is supposed to be our greatest protector. Y'all are supposed to be the religion behind this more so than anything else. Y'all religion, when you can't knock a woman off her square, that's what makes better men. But if we can knock you off your square and then you're using smacks to weaponize it against men, do it for resources and attention and not for families and for us to be together, then when women are running the world with smacks, we're going to be in disorder. But if the men are running the world with order, then men and women are going to be together. And you're going to rest in your soft woman era and your femininity and let the man lead. And when he fails, it's his fault. When we're doing good, you'll give him credit as well too. But at least you're functioning with us as well too. We're cooperating with each other instead of competing with each other.
Let me just 1 second, please. Thank you very much, the Uncle Junior Network, for the $50 ball for our brother Ilkan Ali. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother.
For the 5 memberships, and AD for the $25 cash app for the Angry Bird. Thank you very much. Before we even the lower one, we're going to read all the super chats every time we change topic. Okay, we need to go back in order. I want Ann, Rick, Dr. James uninterrupted, and then we go popcorn style again because I want to do some rebuttals about what's going on here. Okay, so Anne, Rick, and Dr. James uninterrupted.
I think that was really beautifully said, you guys, D and Ali. The lack of sexual discipline of women is an issue, is a primary issue. And I think it comes down to like a form of self-hate and a self-hate of what the real value of womanhood and femininity is. That lack of understanding our power and the beauty of womanhood is the problem of modernity. Like modern society has lied to us, lied to women about the value of what it means to just be feminine and what that looks like. And I think that's why women self-harm through schmecks. So that's
Ricky?
all I have to add. I think that was really well said, you guys.
Ricky?
I said it before and I said it again. It's y'all fault, ladies. Y'all
Oh.
got to take this one.
So do you
It's
think
what it is. It's what it is.
Mhm.
Right? The reason why we're in the state we're in is because the women's mental state and y'all spirit is where it's at as a whole right now. We need to stop playing like we don't understand, especially for a man, that if you look at a man that's especially traditional, that gives his all for his family, right? Everything he's doing, going back into the house, the only real reward he have is sex. That's the only real reward he has. Everything else he's doing is putting into the family to make sure that y'all lives is better down going into the future. Right. So I completely believe that women have this understanding, and you guys better than anybody know how to manipulate it and use it against men. I said it before and I say it again. I know we going corporate, right? But would there be any coochie to hit if there wasn't any coochie to hit? Would there? It don't matter how much a man wanted it, would it? If it wasn't no ladies willing to give it, would it? This is the game of nature. As a woman, you know when a man walks up to you, he's looking to hit your buns. Maybe not today. Maybe not today. But me putting work into you and showing you the type of man I am, being willing to stay here and work out with you with all your junk, and you work out with my junk, and we like each other. You think I'm cute, I think you sexy. We know it's gonna happen, right? We spending time together. But it's so weaponized. And how can these women want tradition, right? And let me to refer back to what I was saying earlier, right? How can what used to be, right? And I think somebody asked the question, what was like, if it's a young man and he has no father, right? And he goes into a relationship, how does he learn to be a leader? By trial and error, right? You try this, you see if this works, right? You see that don't work, you see you get the results you need. We take that under consideration. We use that as a litmus and we move on, right? But now the women don't want to even give men grace for that time frame. Is that fair? You got to be 23 and ready-made. When none of these women are working towards wife, because I got to say working, because the majority of our women aren't being trained up to be wives. Is that fair? Is that fair, me asking that or saying that?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, most of their mothers ain't wives. So
Right?
why would they be wives?
And that's what nobody wants to address, right? That our mothers raise men that they hate, and our mothers raise daughters, right, to take on the pain that they had and push it down the line into infinity. You know what? Back in psychiatry, right? You know what the first question when you went to your therapist they used to ask you back in the days, tell me more about your mother.
Right.
Because everybody knows the mother is the one who puts the first and permanent impressions on the child. And if dads are so important, why don't y'all treat them as such?
Can I say something to that? And then Mr. Williams, we want you to jump in, please. My kid I love my kids to death. I have to earn the relationship with my sons. They love their mom. They want their mamas constantly. They always want their mama. So no matter who I am, how great of a man I am, she has to give those kids me. Like she has to give me those kids. Like the messages she gives them is, your father is an honorable man. He's a great man. Or in their eyes, she emasculates me and she makes me look like I'm not a man. And she turns away from me and she makes the kids pick them. So their whole entire life, they'll be confused trying to validate themselves with women and struggle with being great men because their mother said I wasn't a great man. How can they even say themselves as great men if their mother said I wasn't a great man? But just seeing how my sons are, the fact that they come from my seed and still go through her body, the world balances itself out. Like I have to earn and I have to build a respect with my kids, but my woman can tear my entire relationship with my kids. Y'all see what happened with 50 Cent, with Master P, with Brian McKnight, with all these men. Like no matter how good they were to their kids, no matter how much financial support they gave them and their mothers, the mother still has the power and voice to turn the kids against the father and destroy society. Go ahead, my brother Williams.
Yeah, I think it's very important, and what I preach, what I talk about is having the Black nuclear family with the Black man, Black woman, and Black child. But it's very important the type of Black man and the type of Black woman that we have in that household. A Black man being present is not enough if he's not masculine, and a Black woman being present is not enough if she's not feminine. Dwayne Wade is in his child's life, and you see what he's doing because he's not in his masculine energy and he's not in any divine energy. He's just leading his child astray, and he's leading his son in a manner as to which would be detrimental to the Black community. So I think everything we have to do has to be rooted in fact. I don't think, we know that Black male emasculation is not okay. So how can anyone champion a father who's supporting the emasculation of his son? So if he knew better, he would do better. But some people have gone so far that they have allowed all of these agendas to manipulate them, and it's destroying the Black community. I always say that the Black community is not a monolith, and we're not. But in certain things, we need to be monolithic about. There are certain things that we all need to be on the same accord about if we want to progress. The things that we are seeing in the Black community now, to add on to what Uncle Rick said, what we're witnessing is that the Black woman has strayed further away from the traditional role than the Black man has. And that's the main problem here that we're seeing with these delusional expectations on the dating market. But men have to put their foot down when dating because, I have a woman now, but up until about, 4 or 5 months ago, I was single. I was still on the dating market and figuring that aspect out. But I steadfast to what I believe in, and I put my foot down, and I didn't try to, change the way I carry myself in order for her to like me. The right one for you is going to like you for you. You don't have to change, who you are. The right feminine woman is going to like your masculine energy, and she's going to allow you to lead. A lot of time these days, people are changing who they are and to just fit in with someone and just to avoid being single. The right person for you is going to be for you. A feminine woman doesn't have to change that feminine energy to fit some man's, idea of what she should be. And a masculine man doesn't have to change his the way he carries himself to fit, the woman that isn't for him. So it's just a part of that dynamic. A man is still a man regardless of his income. A lot of women try to say that they need a man that makes, 100,000, 200,000. The man can lead you in different aspects. Even if he only makes $50,000, $60,000 a year, we got to get focused back on morals, principles, and things like that when dating, instead of just focusing on things like income and how good someone looks.
You realize, go ahead, Ann.
Well said. Because if just to piggyback off of you, Doctor, that's more legacy minded. If that's thinking of yourself as part of a community. When you're looking beyond just what am I going to get out of this in the moment versus does she even have the qualities that will help bring me to the next level or whatever. Yeah, that's when that requires two individuals really thinking about the impact that they're going to have on the community as a whole. And I want, in your opinion, do you think that that's cultivated in our culture currently?
No.
No, the legacy building aspect, no. I think that's why we see too many people getting with the Pookies and the Ray Rays and they're getting with people who are, they may have, I've seen women who literally would like a man who's has, 60,000, 50,000 followers on Instagram, but he's a scammer. They'll like that over, like that more than someone who's a lawyer or a medical doctor or something like that. And you literally see it on different podcasts. I was on the Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast. You see that they do interviews with women and they ask them the question, would you prefer a 9-to-5 guy or a scammer? And how many women say a scammer is just ridiculous because he may be pulling in, who knows how much he's pulling in scamming, 20,000 a month, $100,000 a month, but it's illegal. And that's just like someone liking a drug dealer over a 9-to-5 guy who's making the bare minimum amount of money. But the drug dealer is destroying our community while the 9-to-5 guy is a hardworking guy who have his morals and principles intact. Which one will make a better father and better leader for you?
But see, they're not thinking about that. It's all about a quick fix. It's about getting money quick. Those type of women, in my opinion, aren't the type of women that you should be taking seriously because they're not in it for the right reasons. When you're trying to establish a relationship, a marriage, you're trying to build something with somebody, it's not just about the money. There are other things. We all see it. Oh, he got to make 6 figures. He got to do this. He got to do that. You're not thinking about his character. Is he a suitable candidate for marriage if that's what you're looking for? They're not looking for the qualities in a man that would yield long-lasting benefits, somebody that you can grow a family with, build with, establish this generational wealth that everybody is talking about. They're not trying to do that. And then when you pick the man who is the scammer and who's just, trying to have a good time with you, then they're complaining about that. Don't complain when you get what you picked. And, and then the thing that, that gets to me is you hear women saying, oh, there aren't any good men out here. They don't take care of their kids and they don't want to marry you. No, they don't want to marry you. The
you part.
Someone out here who does not have the qualities for marriage, and then you're putting it all on the man. No, you have to possess the qualities that men want. It's the men get to pick who they want to marry, who they want to establish relationships with. And if you don't have the qualities because you presented yourself as somebody to be played with, don't get mad when you don't get picked and you see other women who have the qualities finding husbands. Because as much as people talk about, oh, there aren't good men, these men don't want to marry, there are men who are getting married to good women out here. They're still in the real world. People are getting married. People have stable, healthy relationships. But if you don't have it, it's because you don't possess the qualities to get it. But it does exist. That's why I say I don't like when people put it all on every black man. It's the black man. The black men are this. They're trash. They don't do this. No, it's the ones you pick. That's it. It's the ones that you pick, and that's it. So I'm all for marriage. I'm all for commitment. I've been married over 20 years. And so I just know that, there are good men. We have a family. We've built a family. We didn't make 6 figures starting out. We had to start from the bottom and build ourselves. It's not about a quick fix, getting the man at the finish line, as they would say. No, you have to be willing to build with the person, build something together. Y'all grow together and make it work. But that is not what we see women looking for in 2025. They want a rich man. They want him with all the money right now. They don't want to build. They don't want to build a bear. They don't want to do it. They want somebody to come in and just fund their lifestyle. That's it.
Yeah. And,
go ahead then.
Yes, absolutely. And this might be toxic to say, but if you look at the young black men who get drafted into the NFL, why is it that they always have a cute little like a white girlfriend? And it's because, well, she saw him before he was drafted. She was there doing homework with him freshman year. She was there encouraging him. She was there encouraging him to go to train. And she wasn't saying he was nothing. Like she was
Right.
there. Like, I think it's a cultural thing because I know where I come from, and I also know where some white tea women are raised like this. I know some Asian women are raised like this. They go to school not just to get an education, but they're looking for their future husband. Like, who am I going to build with?
They're looking for a paycheck. Those men are not better than any man on their college campus. Actually, most of those men are going to be future womanizers. They're already having in them, and they are going through women left and right. These women are not going to these men because they are righteous men and they are good men and they're going to be good fathers and all that. They are going after them because they are just a bigger target. That's why they do it. They're better pretenders. White women know how to play the game, and when they secure the bag, they will behave just like every other woman once they have the leverage, like everybody else. Like these guys that are going to the NFL draft are not more qualified than the engineers. They are not more qualified than the guy that's honors. They're just not as tall. They're just not as strong. They're just not there. Like they're not their type. So the reality is, once again, all these women are chasing the guys that make them wet. They are like, I agree with everything that y'all said, but the problem is, once again, we don't talk in their languages. They don't understand generational wealth. They understand survival. They don't understand legacy. They understand, how am I going to pay my rent on the next month if my baby daddy doesn't pay? Like,
right.
It's in my opinion, again, all of y'all are right. The thing is, we are talking Chinese with people that were born in Seattle. Okay. So we keep asking them to be sexual discipline. You don't have to be sexual discipline.
Yeah.
Be sexual, go crazy with 2 guys instead of 33. It's fine. You can have 3 long duration relationships where you fuck the same guy 1,000 times. You still fuck 1,000 times. Fuck him in the car, fuck him in the movies, fuck him in your mama. Like, do whatever you want with him, but just go ahead and instead of closing your legs, which is not going to happen ever, pick a guy that you actually can rely. If something happens, oops, the dude is there for you. And most men probably will be, because most men kind of care about their kids. The thing is, once again, these women, and especially the older woman, I don't think they even know what to say to this woman, either because they don't want to get competition from them, because now this woman might, the 40-year-old might not be have access to their men because their men still have access to the 20-year-old, or because they actually don't know how to explain them. Most of these problems are simple. Women are pursuing the man that gets them wet, and then long down the road, when they are scared and fucked up and all that, they're going to pick the man that makes them happy for the retirement plan. Respectfully, just because you are playing with toys when you are young and you are playing with the baby, you are being trained to have kids, not to be a mother. Just because you are dreaming about your wedding doesn't make you ready to be a wife. Just because you play with the little stove and shit doesn't train you to actually cook for the men that you love. Like all of these, like most women will fuck 40 men before they cook them a meal. That's the reality. Like this is just conditioning, is lack of consequences, and for the most part, we raising our sons as sacrificial lambs to women that will literally run through them if they have a chance, because women unfortunately don't care about society anymore. Women of yesteryear would care about the village. Women of yesteryear will care about how their men look and their reputation. Women of yesteryear will make sure that they don't embarrass their family. And I was just scrolling my feed. I was just scrolling my feed, and this is what I find. I find who was it? Like I think a celebrity, like a woman that is celebrity on his kids' graduation, basically in underwear.
Tony Braxton.
Tony Braxton,
Yeah.
literally on underwear.
Yeah,
Like this is the
that's
biggest day of your kid life,
crazy.
and we don't want to be bashing women just because. But do you think that Ricky Williams is going to show up on his son graduation in boxer briefs, showing his knees? Even if he showed up in shorts, everybody say, "Hey, Ricky, come here, man, go get a suit, brother." Like it's
Halle Berry was out here with her coochie out.
It's
Oh,
again
boy.
there's no shame, and even if you shame people, there's no consequence, because again, unfortunately, we are the biggest suckers in the planet. We see a woman mistreat a man, abuse him, not be accountable, take the kid away from him, and all that, and we say this woman is a bad woman, and she will be single for 24 hours before 73 other men try to pick her up on the market like she's LeBron James on free agency. Makes no sense at all. So this is going to be a cycle. Women are going to do some dumb shit. Woman learn a lesson. Woman pick the bad guy again. Woman gets jaded. Woman goes to the free agent market, and the man that's supposed to be the logical beings, the ones that do a cost, like they kind of look at okay, this is no matter if she's fat, no matter if she has 7 kids, no matter if she is toxic, no matter, she will get 7 guys on her DMs as soon as she takes her boyfriend out of the IEG grid. So who is who? Who is the worst? Is this woman that keep doing this bullshit, or is us as a global, not a global, but as an overall gender, that no matter what this woman do, like for example, what we're going to talk probably with Casey, you might discuss if she's a victim or not, but it's always going to be a sucker ready to pick up the glasses and to put it on the bag and to take them home. So what do we do here?
I my platform, I talk about ending the gender war, and first and foremost, men got to stop giving attention to women that don't respect men. Number one, let them cannibalize each other. Like if they don't respect men, why even talk to them? Like treat it just like you would treat a racist, right? Like if you don't expect to be heard by the KKK, then you need to treat it with the same thing, because you're wasting a lot of energy with people that don't care about solutions. Number one, capturing everything that the doc said, Didi said, and you know what y'all described was the sexually disciplined household, meaning like you think through everything logically, right? You don't overreact. You compose your emotions. Everybody regulates their own emotions before they speak, you know. And the opposite of that is everything that's created this conversation, the problem, you know, the lack of emotional discipline. And here's the thing too, like all men have to do is take themselves out of the conversation and look how women treat each other. And if you look at the way, yeah, like why would anybody want to be with women that hate women?
Because they have a coochie.
Megan Thee Stallion was actually shot by her best friend.
Because they have a coochie. No, that's the justification is because they have a coochie. Like as long as women have coochies, there's hope. They will never be homeless. They will never starve. As long as they have it and they know how to use it, is a currency that will be accepted on any country in the planet, because once again, men value coochie more than they value
money, time, effort.
That's what it is. Like it is we are going to let's do this, right? And again, I'm not trying to be a devil advocate. I'm just trying to kind of get a little bit out of the shell that we have here. If you got men unlimited choices when it comes to sex, right? And you said, hey guys, don't do it, what will happen? They will do it anyway. They will go crazy. Women are emotional junkies. They are way less regulated than us. They are medicating themselves with wine, with coffee, with sex, with food. Like we are already doing it, but a woman that is by nature emotional, she's always going to look for the next high for her to feel good. And if he's having sex with you for 10 minutes and feeling good about herself and then go back to the pits of hell and become miserable, that's exactly what is going to happen. White woman, black woman, Asian woman, feminism, I repeat this again, is the biggest religion in the planet. You can talk about all your God and Jesus and all that. You put a feminist manifesto in front of a woman and she's going to pick that 1,000 times before she picks up the Bible. So I repeat again, The answer, in my opinion, other than changing the laws, because this is a conversation for another day, and changing the laws actually would kind of fix, in my opinion, most of the things. Because as long as if you are compensating, for example, families instead of compensating people that are heavy, like single house, let me actually reframe it. If your tactic is to give cash prizes and money to single mothers and single dads, and you flip it and you actually reward women that have men in the house, I guarantee you this woman find a husband tomorrow. I guarantee you. If you say people that get Section 8 and people that get benefits and people that are going to get the money back on January are the people that are married with the husband. You know what happened? Their long-term boyfriend and girlfriend all of a sudden are a couple. Now their kid is in the house when he's born because they actually have a benefits. But because we incentivize women to be single, we incentivize women to get married just so they can break up afterwards and get all the catches and prizes. Like this is this is going to keep going. Like this is not going to stop, no matter how many books they get, no matter how many OGs recommend it.
All right. So right there, I like the point that Fatty brought up on that part. I've made multiple Facebook posts that said if you incentivized marriage, like I've seen modeled in other countries, like in Kuwait, they give families a stipend to take care of food and everything else because they incentivize the growing of the family. Because when you go abroad, you start seeing two-parent household, nuclear family, not just a stepmother or stepfather. I'm talking about biologically nuclear. You start seeing larger families because it's incentivized for them to grow their family. So I like the fact that Fatty pointed that out. I'm gonna let it keep rocking.
Them, no matter how many times you say close your legs, no matter how many times you say you need to be responsible. If I know I'm immortal, you are not going to scare me by saying if you're going to jump from the 9th floor, you are going to earth. Hey, I jumped 3 times. Oh, this is how it feels. Let me jump the 4th. Nothing happens to me. Go ahead then.
Yeah. And absolutely correct, Fatty. And we do incentivize women to be single. But if you look at the rates of prescription drug use for anxiety medication and depression medication, yeah, women aren't happy, and it's a lie. They still want men. They will talk about how much money they earn and how satisfied they are in their careers and how they don't need they have single women are the happiest or whatever. Yet you guys are still dealing with men. If you were so happy without men, why are you 45 in a situationship? Why are you still out? Like, we need y'all.
Can you answer that? Can you answer that? Why are women miserable? Because we say,
lack
right?
of purpose.
Women are miserable. And Akua, please go after Anne. Like, why are women miserable? The most free, the most powerful, the most educated, the most privileged woman in the history of mankind. Why are the women that fought for all these things and acquire all these things, control 80% of consumer spending ever? Like, why are these women the most free women? Yeah, why?
And yet we're still unhappy because we are lying to ourselves about our true purpose here, like Akua touched on. When all of these things, all these material trophies, does not actually satisfy the feminine role or the feminine spirit.
Your microphone was a little bit muffled in it, like for whatever reason.
We need to be in union with men. We need to create. And if we're not doing that, no amount of money is going to numb that pain or medication. Go ahead.
Let me just say one little thing, and then Akua and Ricky. Married women are miserable too. I'm sorry. I'm saying it. I don't give a fuck. Married women are miserable. They want to be single. Single women are miserable. They want to get married.
Except for D.
Woman with kids. Oh my God. Fuck these kids. Woman go to work. I don't want to go to work. Woman stay at home mom. I'm bored. I want to go to work. Woman, in my opinion, respectfully, the same way men are very undisciplined when it comes to sex, and no matter how much pussy they can get the most beautiful woman, and they're always going to have the wondering why. Can I fuck that one too? woman, for whatever reason, can never be happy with whatever they achieve. You put them on an ivory tower, they say it's too high. You put them on the floor, they say it's too low. You put them on a hot environment, they say it's too hot. You put them on a cold, they say it's too cold. Like
But
women are
that's
by
we,
nature like just unregulated. Like they will never be satisfied, no matter how many pairs of shoes they have. They're always telling you it's the next last one until they pass on the store and say, "Oh my God, I want that one too."
I
So
think
it's
to a
more, more,
degree,
more, more, more.
no,
you're
but D
absolutely
D D
right.
D why? But we're asking y'all why, like why is a woman not most women not happy? Why are most women
Yes.
having it's like almost the envy? They're trying to be men instead of being women. Why are women lying to themselves? Why are women weaponizing everything? Why is women trying to convince people that they're being controlled versus they just want to do what they want to do? Like me and Fatty, this conversation on this panel, we're having this on the back. Like we really trying to figure out like what the world is going on, and people will go, "Oh, y'all mad at women, y'all bash it." No, we not. Like
No.
we want men and women together. So, but why are women still deciding to choose themselves, even over their children? Even over Shamar Moore just lost his girl. Michael B. Jordan lost his girl. Tyrese lost his girl. Tom Brady lost his girl. Leonardo DiCaprio can't keep like none. Even the great men, they can't keep their women. But why? But we're trying to ask y'all. What when y'all thinking about it, why can't men and women are supposed to technically, y'all saw grandma kept the family together. Man, that ain't one of the man's job. That was always a woman's job. My job was to get you. Your job was to keep me. That's how you demonstrated your value. But now you're making it a man has to keep you.
Yeah.
What when you think about it, and to accord as well too, what is making women so miserable?
I think women just want control, to be honest. I think they want full control. They want to be able to call the shots, make the decisions, and they want men to just be okay with it.
I'm gonna interrupt you again. I'm intentionally interrupt you. Okay. Why do they want control when they know the more they try to get control, they can't control us? Why?
Yeah, we want to surrender.
But women have been convinced of that. It's by design. Black families are not good for the overall agenda. It's damaging.
No. Akua, y'all can get your degrees. You can
No. We by design for sure.
Right. No,
for
but I'm
sure.
trying,
And when our grandmothers kept the families together, some of them didn't have options.
I'm not trying to cut you off. We think about this all the time, right? All the way that all the things that you can attain, all the things you can be successful at, how beautiful you are, how much everybody wants to come to you. Even when you get there, like that means women know what they're doing. And I get what you're saying, conditioned and socially engineered, but it's becoming disheartening because my whole life I thought women was better than men. My whole life. I'm thinking, and think about why I'm saying this. We're living for you. If you're pure, if you're not touched, if you're not scarred. My mother was the most loving. My mother was my goat. I love my father to death. He was for my mother all the time. But my mother, all she did every single day is wake up for us. So I saw my father go in and take care of my mother so she could take care of us. And that's what I always thought a woman. I thought my father knew. It's like, man, my mother's the greatest person in this household. So my father's gonna make sure she's not stressed, she's not hurt, she don't have to break her back for nobody, so she can love us. So what I'm asking is, if she is she technically becomes our legacy. Like you are love. Like why cannot they be happy with that position? You're the candy in the candy store. We trying to buy the candy, and the store is operating over you. Why don't women want to just be the candy?
They're confused. That's all I can say. They're confused, entitled. So society and social media they don't know what they're supposed. The things that men are saying they want from women, you notice that's the opposite of what women are trying to do.
Right.
So everything that y'all are saying y'all want from women, the women are trying to do the complete opposite. It's because they're confused, combative. They don't know what they want. Most women, you ask them what you don't know. And then they think they have all these options, too many options that they think they have, and they don't know how to pick. I mean, I'm a woman. If you give me 1,000 options, I'm gonna be confused too. I ain't gonna know exactly what I want either. So I think they're just confused. I don't think that
I don't believe that. And I gotta interrupt you again. They say all men are cheaters. All men want is smacks. Look, watch this. All the men experience on this panel, when they don't give a damn, there's a line of women outside of the door wanting to respect and be with you and connect with you. Soon as you go, you know what, D? You know what, Ann? You know what, Akua? I love you. That's when everything goes to hell. for most women. When once they say I love you and they hear those words, gotcha, I got you, and it turns
I mean,
into something else.
that's where we are today. But I think women, the scorned women who were dedicated to their family that we're talking about, our grandmothers, financially were surviving off of their husband. The family was the nucleus, it was the focus. They still got cheated on, although maybe they were good women. Some of them, not all of them, some of them. So
but you just
when options came into play and it was like, you know what, I don't have to pick this. You know what? Oh, I can go and get my own job. You know what? I don't have to put up with XYZ. And so they started exploring options, and little by little, the children were left behind by the mothers. And now we have so many people that have childhood trauma and then trying to get together and then try to lead a household, and it becoming contagious. But when I tell you what I love out of this whole panel is all of us are not afraid to talk about the taboo topic of a bad mother. And so many people have experienced bad mothering, male and female. But as soon as we hear anything about a woman having to be accountable for doing something wrong, I don't know if, and I've literally made a post about it, and just, it was like it was invisible to every woman. I was like, hey sis, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay. We don't know how to deal with rejection. We don't have as much practice. So it looks like we're being thrown away. It looks like we're not good enough. It looks like we're not being valued, opposed to, hey, look at this area of opportunity. This is where you could use some growth. Instead, it's like, I'm not perfect. Wow, perfect.
I swear.
Let me go deal with escapism. Let me deal with escapism.
Last one, I'm letting it go.
Let me go shopping.
Last one, I'm letting it go. I don't believe that. Y'all love being not y'all. Most women love being with the abuser, love being with the cheater, love being with the liar. Look at the news. They love it. They love the drugs. They love the toxicness. They love it. You get a Williams, you get an Uncle Ricky, you get an Ali. Hey man, I take care of everything. But this is my house. This is my rules. Hell no. I'd rather live in hell than be operating under a good man, under a righteous man, under a pastor. If you give
those are women who don't understand their power.
If everybody on this panel raise pastors, and then somebody else raise 20 bad boys, take that. The women are gonna want the bad boys. They don't want the pastor.
Ali, I think
why can't he put
every woman is like that?
Bro, I know D without saying every woman D.
But I'm saying
we're dating y'all. D, you married. You married.
And I'm older too. I'm not that young, so I'm older. So I guess I do come from a different generation. I'm not that young, and so I maybe I'm speaking from that perspective. But I guess you're right with the women of today, because they've been conditioned a certain way. See, I am coming from a different generation, honestly, where, I look at things a lot differently. I've been married a long time, and we've been married years, back when it was a little bit different than it is now. It's just out of hand now. So maybe it is, these women are raised by a bunch of ratchet, single, hyena, bonnet wearing women. So they're not taught how to respect a man and the importance of a family. They don't know the importance. They don't care. So I can't fully say what it is. It's just they're not raised. They're not taught that way. They're taught to get over on a man. Take him, get the coins, get to the bag. Get the D and get the bag, and that's it. They don't know. They really don't know. They don't respect men in the way that women used to. Like I said, and I can't speak for every woman. I only speak for myself. And I think the good women, the women who have morals and values and understand the importance of a man and respect the man, they're already married for the most part. These are the leftover people. These are the ones who are left over trying to figure it out. The women and the men who got it, we've been married. We've, married. I'm in my late 40s. I've been married a long time, and they're married. They're taken. What y'all got is the leftover women who confused, don't know what they want. And you could give a woman the world and she's still going to have a problem. I agree with that. She's still going to find something wrong. And that I don't know if there's anything that could be done.
So for those of you that follow my content on Facebook, man, I appreciate y'all for jumping in. Hey, what's up, Danny? And Aaron Ashley, and who else we got up here? Eddie Alexander Banks. See you in a little while too. When I talk about the difference between the married people and the unmarried people, right? It's not an attack. It is simply identifying people that have different value systems. And your value systems come from the way that you was raised. And I know some people are instantly sensitive when this topic comes up because it's centered on the emotional response of the people that's listening to it. And they hear an attack. And when the truth is that it's just the people that have a different value system having a conversation that you may not be aware of or familiar with or anything like that. And it's no different than speaking a different language. We're not all the same, man. And as much as we think that we should have certain certain opportunities, we all have the same opportunities, but the only thing that determines your access to those opportunities is your behavior. And the behavior piece is why we are where we are overall. Like, meaning the opportunities that you get to connect with somebody that you believe is going to be a solid spouse for you is relative to what you are attracted to and what you feel complements your self-esteem. Because the truth is that nobody is laying down with somebody that has greater self-esteem than you do. You're laying down with somebody's insecurity in the most vulnerable manner, you know. And a lot of this stems from trauma bonding. Well, it is trauma bonding. You know, like, you got to find something that you can relate to. And typically people relate to folks in toxic relationships. People relate to people who have a similar struggle, similar home format. So it's unlikely that someone from a two-parent, you know, home structure is going to find uh the opposite home structure, the single parent structure, relatable. It's highly unlikely that someone that was raised in the foster system is going to have the same value of parenting and discipline and everything else, because their journey through life shaped the way that they see how they need to make decisions. So when people hear these conversations and they decide to get offended, like, you'll see the women say, well, what's the point of getting married if you're gonna get divorced anyway? And you hear the guys say the same thing. Y'all are raised the same way. And the men that got married and it didn't work, the ones that's complaining the most, in my opinion, they're not addressing or haven't healed from either how green they were or how reckless they were. And sometimes it's a combination of both, and it's allowed to be put out in a linear direction, and it's always going to be a blame conversation. It's always going to be a conversation where, you know, hey, why don't you just withdraw from it, take your L and move on? Because everybody doesn't move the way that you think. And even if they move the way that you think, you have the choice to decide if you want to give your energy to people that respect you or don't respect you. If you constantly echoing the loudest about people that don't respect you, it's a bad look on you at some point, because are you not capable or independent enough to get what you want? If you can get what you want, why do you complain about things that you don't want? So that's where I wanted to pause on that conversation. I'm gonna let it keep going.
About that, I can't say what the solution would be.
I have one suggestion, but I want Anne and Dr. James to intervene, and then we go to the main event. Okay. There's 300 people watching the show in every platform. Thank you very much once again, Uncle Rick, Accountable Masculinity, Anil Kanali. Please like the videos. Please like the videos. Please like the videos. Okay. Support the content creators that are streaming. We appreciate all of them being here. It's been a good show. Let's continue the momentum. Okay. Go ahead. And Dr. James uninterrupted. And then I have a solution. I think I'm not going to work, but I'll try. Go ahead then.
I think it's just fear. I think it's fear running with people, living in survival mode. They believe that because of whatever, because you're right, the good ones are already taken, but the other 50% of the population that has been traumatized, that has seen violence, who didn't grow up in households full of love, who saw struggle and lived in survival, who have generational trauma of poverty, that fear, it is scary, it is terrifying to believe that there will be someone who will ride and die and love you and won't hurt you. They don't understand it. And so for a lot of women, that fear controls everything. They would rather be in a relationship knowing it's toxic, knowing he's a child, knowing she's unfulfilled, knowing she's self-abandoned, because at least it is in alignment with what she already thinks is normal. She is afraid of actually being in a relationship where a man has control in it, and it doesn't mean slavery. She's scared.
But guys, and again, this where we're doing our children injustice, right? You being with somebody, you're gonna get hurt, right? You being with somebody long term, you're gonna go through it. That's how it becomes long term, right? You guys go through things,
Absolutely.
right? So again, if you don't have again, it all starts with you being responsible with the men. The most important thing a woman, our women believe that the most important decision is what career they're going to get into, right? What school they're going to get into, right? The most important decision a woman makes is the man she chooses to have children with.
100%.
That's y'all ace in the hole. That no matter what, when y'all choose the right man to settle down with and have children with, you won the lottery.
We both did.
You won the lottery. No, I didn't. You did.
You don't
right?
think?
No.
That's the problem right there.
No.
You have to.
One second. Let her explain
finish.
exactly
Let me
why
finish.
she thinks the way she thinks, and then
I'm
Ricky
letting all
got it back.
y'all rock. I'm letting all y'all rock. Let me finish, right? Because the truth is, and we got to be honest, and the whole problem is this, is that no one's honest about marriages and relationships and how they work.
Okay, what's the only?
Give me a second. You say I win, right? Because I get you. Will you die for me?
Yeah.
With most
You're my husband.
Okay.
Listen to what I'm. Let's take it off the personal. I'm not trying to direct it at you, so let me rephrase, right?
Okay.
What's the understanding that most men have is women and children first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Right? You would never, if you got a man, listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking about from my perspective of the world and how I deal with my woman, right? Shout out to Dee, 25 years this year.
Amen.
Right? You can never, I'm talking about real world stuff. You will never be able to give back what I give to you because I'm your own personal Jesus. I make shit shake. I make stuff happen. I take stuff off your plate as a woman that you don't have to worry about complaining to your friends. You can sit in the group chat with your friends and laugh at them because they man ain't shit.
Absolutely. But I give you a son.
You're DoorDash. I'm the orderer. You're delivering my son.
Yes.
If it wasn't for me,
self-sacrifice of myself.
That's what you're supposed to do. And if we want to go back, if we want, you could, right? But that's your job, right? But that's your job. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, right? But if we go out and some shit shake off and pop off, it's my job to defend you as a man, right?
That's right.
So don't use what you're supposed to do as a woman as it's something special. That's what you're supposed to do as a woman.
Right.
It's what I'm supposed to do as a man.
Correct. But when we talk about give my life to you, right?
No, I said, would you die for me?
Outside of pregnancy, yes.
That's the point becomes mute because most women are not willing to die for their man, and this being proven.
That's the problem.
That's not the problem because it's not your job. Like you know what actually would happen if you are my woman and I tell you go to the car, this is the dangerous situation, and you stay there to fight. I will tell you next time you do that shit, there will be no more husband anymore. You can go about your business and marry a pussy that wants you to fight with him. You are just you just putting me in danger. Now I have to care about my face and your face, right? And once again, this is woman thinking like men. This is kind of like a woman that thinks that, you know what? The best thing I can do for my husband is just to stay right here with him and fight with him. No man see this in the history of mankind, and the men that do that shit are men that should not be reliable, because you shouldn't rely on them, because once again you are not doing their job, and they are not doing their job either. Nobody is doing their job. You are staying with me and putting me in danger, and now I'm not doing my job because the worst thing that a man can do is I can survive if Ali give me a black eye and embarrass me. But if my woman comes back with the black eye, now I have to talk with her brother. Now I have to talk with her dad. Now I have to talk with her group of friends. Now I have to explain to everybody on Instagram why is my woman with the black eye when I was there to protect her. And
But
this
that's all part of
Even
leadership,
worse- even
right,
worse-
Patty? That's all a part of leadership.
no, it's actually no, it's a part of followership.
But-
It's about it's actually
And-
about
And I
listen,
want to add on something to the
Let- let-
conversation about prizes.
yeah.
So-
Let me 1 second. Let me just say these, and then Akua, accountable masculinity, and DD can pick the microphone. Dr. Williams, please interrupt us because Dr. Williams is the most polite guest that we ever had on the history of the Team Fatty show. So as soon as we get to the main event, you better not jump on Dr. James. You better chill. But the reality and is this, right? And this is what I'm talking about. This is what Ali said, is the penis envy. Y'all really are being raised out to be men. I want $100,000 and I want a car and I want a mansion and I want to get the baddest bitch, which is the equivalent of the guy. Like everything you want is what the men used to want. And then when you get that shit, you resent yourself and you resent the man that you met because you became. So because remember what Didi said about control? This is all about control. This is why I believe that women are miserable. And then I'm going to give my solution of everything goes, right? Think about it. A woman will find the man of her dreams. She will wrestle for control the whole relationship, try to put her hand on the wheel, try to make sure she tests him left and right to see if he's still the man of her dreams, all that shit. And as soon as she gained control, she looks at him and says, "Ugh, what a motherfucking bitch. Who the fuck did I marry?" You are going to fight for that control so bad that the day that you earn it, you don't respect that motherfucker anymore because a real man won't let you control him. This is how most relationships work. You are not okay with just sleeping and letting the man drive because you are afraid he crashes the car. And as soon as I say, you know what, baby, you can drive the car, bitch. I resent you. I might not think about it, but I'm resenting you now because you were a pushover. It is not the man that I married. The man that I married was to do whatever you want, and I would follow him. Now he's following me, and I can't stand this dude because he's doing whatever I need him to do. And once again, this is the crazy part: is you are not okay with the playboy. You are not okay with the dragon. You are not okay with the simp. The simp does everything for you. He should be a perfect husband. He does everything you want. Everything you want. He gives you money. He protects you. He is the perfect domesticated dog. And you still resent him because he's controllable. So I think, in my opinion, and then you guys can edit, please, by order. And shout out to Slice Maximus. I appreciate you being here, brother. The biggest mistake I think people did was telling women that life is happiness. Life is, like Ricky said, is pain. Life is misery. Life is, the bottom line is pain, and you are trying to get away from it as fast as possible once a week on Sunday when you can watch your NFL, when you can be with your ladies. Like, life is misery and pain. So what happens is you indoctrinate a generation of women from 50 to 1 year old that you are going to be a princess and you're going to have the happy ending. And if you're not happy, something is wrong. You have to go to the next man and to the next house and to the next car and to the next job. And these women are literally configured to search and the pursuit of happiness like you are going to get it like Will Smith. No, most of y'all are not going to get the last call about your patent and says, you know what, Will Smith, I'm going to. Most of y'all are not going to get that shit. So what makes woman miserable or make woman sad is not that they are not achieving shit, is that we are telling them that once they get that pair of shoes, once they get their bag, once they get their trip, once they get their husband, happy life, everything, the credits come out, the Disney symbol comes in, and it's over. It's never over. You are going to achieve shit, and you are going to conquer stuff, and you are going to get a Ferrari and the mansion and everything, and you are going to be the most miserable person in your motherfucking block because once again, you thought that you were going to get all these feelings and this rush when you got everything, and now you are 3 months in with the pool, with the house, with the hot boyfriend, with everything. Like, what the fuck? Why do I feel empty? Because there are expectations. Life is pain. Life is misery. Be happy if you can twice a week. Have a nice moment with your family. Have a moment of relief. Go to a comedy club. Be happy with that, because for the most part, it's unsustainable. You thinking that you can be happy most of your life and nothing will happen, and you are going to have a happy ending like everybody else. Go ask your grandma if she had a happy ending with 7 kids and a husband for 30 years. She will definitely say, hey, there was some point of times I was miserable. I didn't know what I was doing. I was resentful of your dad. Go ask everybody else. Since the beginning of mankind, we suffered tremendous, but you know what we did? We stay together because we need each other for survival. You take the survival out of the way, we have poor obese people, which means that we're eating well. Nobody's dying at birth. Nobody, like for the most part, doesn't have access to a hot meal, and we just can't seem to figure this shit out. So again, recalibrate your expectations. Life is motherfucking misery, and be happy if you can experience happiness here and there, because happiness is fleeting and it's going to peak one day, and then the next day you are going to be working for a job that you don't want to be there. It is what it is. Let me get. Oh,
Well, she asked for the solution, and the solution is valuing a man more than yourself, more than control, more than your way, more than your dreams, more than your soft girl era, more than your strong independence, more than being a bad bee, a boss bee. And you see it with your kids. When you have children, you have to stop everything. So if you got to value the man more so than your kids, contrary to popular belief that women keep pushing, you have to love and value that man more than everything else. You have to want to live. You have to want to not live without a man.
That makes them happy,
That's
Ali.
why I would die for you.
Ali, would that make them happy?
No, but
Yes.
they get them security. No,
Ali, but
Because women want to surrender.
but this is exactly what I'm saying. Is you are going to value your man, and a lot of times that shit is going to make you miserable as fuck. It's not supposed to make you happy. It's not supposed.
Yeah.
You having kids, that shit is not supposed to make you happy all the time. You're going to hate those motherfucking bastards here and there because they're just bad little kids. This is what they do, right? That's the reality. You might love them and say, but sometimes you don't want to get out of bed 3 hours early because you have to take care of the kids. So it's value these things. And even if you do, we don't think this, because Ali is saying value your husband, that shit is going to make you the happiest woman in the world. Some days you will be, some days you will be all completely opposite, and it's fine. That's life.
I'll give benefit of doubt, right? If you truly, and I told Fatty about 2 shows ago, as much as I keep happy going over this, if you can get the woman's mind, it's not her heart anymore, it's her mind, then the heart's going to come right behind it. But if your mentality can change and you valuing the person and you loving the person and cherishing the person and working for the person, you see that the value of that makes you happy, I give you grace. I give you benefit of doubt. I had a mother that loved doing for her children. Mom, go sit down somewhere. Go sit down. Go do something else other than for us. So that's hope there. But as much as I've been on these panels, as much as I met other women, and the generation of these women, it's kind of hard to see them even being happy when they say that. But I have hope. But for the most part, I don't. You're gonna have to put away your happiness and see it as your responsibility and duty to keep men and women together, like Grandma did.
I think people are traumatized, both women and men, honestly, from my opinion, from what I'm seeing. Happiness is a choice. It's a choice you have to make for yourself. It's not contingent upon a man, the man. If you are an unhappy, miserable person, you're going to be an unhappy, miserable person, whether you've got a man, whether you don't have one. That's just who you're going to be. You have to make a conscious effort to love your situation, to love where you are. The problem is, and I do think that there are expectations that are put out there, especially towards us, of what a good man should be, what a relationship should look like. And to me, your relationship should be based on what works for you and your man, not what everybody else deems perfect or what it should be. And if you're searching something that everybody else deems perfect, that's why you're going to be miserable. I don't agree that everybody is miserable in a marriage. I'm certainly not. And I think that's because I understand my husband. He understands me. We understand what makes our dynamic work, and we don't care about what everybody else thinks. You got to leave and put aside what everybody else thinks and do what works for you. Of course, every single day, we're not going to be jumping like jumping monkeys, happy. Oh my God, I'm so happy. No, life is not that way. Life is ups and downs. Like my husband would say, ebbs and flows. Yeah, I'm going to be mad some days. Shit ain't going to go my way sometimes. But that's not going to, I'm not going to let that deter me from my goals and my husband goals and what we have together. I'm not going to let that destroy that. That don't have anything to do with that. I do think marriages go through stuff. Yes, of course. There's ups and downs. Y'all are not always going to agree. Like I said, we're not sitting singing kumbaya, happy husband, happy wife. No, we got to go through stuff. We got things we got to do. And yes, I love my kids. I love my kids. I don't say, oh my God, I hate these bastards one day and then one day. Well, they're not bastards, but I'm saying I don't say, oh, I hate them. They're getting on my goddamn nerves. No, I don't say that. I don't know what, I think we've been consumed with so much toxicity. And like Ali was saying, the people y'all come in contact with is so toxic. That's at the forefront, especially now. But I don't think like that. And I think, I don't know, I don't think like that. And I don't believe that every person is miserable. I don't think
your case
shot to hell.
Can I hop in?
The thing, Didi, is your case, like you can say, I don't feel it. Who is the woman that is going to come on the panel and says, sometimes I look at my kids as a burden. Sometimes I ate my sometimes I ate my husband. Sometimes I just want to leave and give up and go live a single. Like these thoughts happen in our head every single time. It happened when you were a kid and you were looking at your parents and then deny you something. You're like, I hate you. Like this is something recurrent. The thing is, how do you cope with that? How do you feel fulfilled in doing things? And with women, unfortunately, modern women, for whatever reason, they will succumb to their feelings. They will succumb to their feelings. It's okay for you to say, you know what? I really don't want to watch your soccer game today, man. I'm sorry. But you know what? You're still going to go. And you know what happens? The same thing that happens when people go to the gym. I don't feel like going. I'm going to get out of this bed. I'm going to see my son playing. And as soon as I'm there, I'm glad that I actually did that. Woman, unfortunately, can go through the pain of step 1, 2, 3. Get off the bed, put my shoes on, go ahead, get my air, get on the car, and then get the joy at the end. As soon as they feel a little bit of uncomfort, man, I'm going to leave Slice for Uncle Rick because Slice is not making me happy. Michelle Obama said she was miserable for 10 years. It is what it is.
And
it's
so did Jack wife say she was never
pushing.
happy.
Yeah, keep pushing.
Akua, I want to say one thing and then let Akua go. I've never heard in my man.
Dr. James.
I never heard a man in my life say he didn't enjoy taking care of his woman and his kids. He didn't enjoy playing with his kids. He didn't enjoy being a father. He needed a break from work. He needed a break from his women. He needed a break. It's usually, man, I'm tired of not being loved. I'm tired of not being appreciated. I'm tired of not being valued. You know what I hear women all day? Sex break, food break, short vacay away from her family and man, long vacay away from her family and man, long girls trip away from her family and man. Women are always trying to take breaks, most women. And I'm gonna say, listen, let's do this on the show today, right? And me and Fatty open-minded to that. Uncle Ricky is too, because we part of the squad too. We know there's good women out there. We know there's divine women out there, and they're quiet. We don't really hear them, right? It's hard to focus on them too because we don't hear them. They're already taken. But for the most of what men are encountering, there's some miserable, unhappy, non-appreciative, non-loving. Everything is the man's fault, even though I make the decisions. I make all the choices. I'm the gatekeepers, but I didn't choose to be a mother. I didn't choose to be a single mother. I didn't choose to be this kid's mom. Someone made me do this. Someone's manipulating me. Someone is taking advantage of me. All I'm saying is majority of the time, I don't hear men complaining about what they have to do for their children and for their women. It's only not being appreciative. But when we come on these panels, off these panels, in our real life, in public, hear men talk and brothers talk on our job sites, women always want to take a break and are always claiming to be sacrificing for the man. But most of the outserving is the brothers.
That's true.
Go ahead, Akua. We're going to wear Akua. Sorry, man.
Akua. No, that's fine.
It's my Russian accent. Go ahead and please, Dr. James, uninterrupted. Please, uninterrupted, and then we get slides on the main event and Mr. Accountable Masculinity too. Okay. Don't ask questions to them and don't interrupt and let them have it. Okay.
I'm not sure how to interject when I have something, so I have a whole lot, but I'm only going to say just a couple of two things narrowed down. So one, if I'm hearing the collective correctly, and not absolutely everyone, but overall, was saying that in actuality, the man is the prize because he is said to protect and provide. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, so then with that being the case, we're also saying that the current conundrum that we're in is because the woman who is, abusing and also not realizing her power is damaging households, which would mean she's a key player in that dynamic. And when you do find a really good woman who is a good wife and who is an excellent mother and enjoys it, that she would be a prize as well in the situation. And the women who feel like a man is only a prize if he is protecting and providing, but that doesn't include love, like we're saying we need. It's almost like we're accepting of this reality and this will perpetuate it. Am I tripping? So if you're saying,
so the main, no, we're not trying to say women aren't the prize. Obviously, Amazing Woman is the prize. But when we have these conversations, a lot of women start like going there right away instead of acknowledging most women aren't the prize. And we spend more time trying to focus on the good women when they're already taken, instead of acknowledging what the brothers are asking from the women who are not trying to be desirable or marriageable, how we can get them on a course so we can have families. Because it's like me focusing on poverty, or not speaking about poverty and pretending it's just going to go away. There's no reason to speak about me not being poor or focusing on who's rich, because we have money. We got to focus on who's in poverty and who doesn't have financial equity to help people. So men and women, in order to come together, we have to talk about the issues, and we have to talk about the core of the issues. We know there's beautiful women out there, and when they come on our panels, we always give them their flowers. We have connection with so many great women, but in order to get our sisters on board, we have to talk to the women who are bad followers.
No, right, but I'm saying what I feel like we're saying is that we need more great women.
Yes,
it's not necessarily that they're choosing the wrong man. They themselves are an issue, are a problem, need development, need refocus.
Yes, but they gotta want it. They gotta want
it. But they also have to see that it's valued, which is the only reason why I'm saying that is a part of a man seeing that as a prize. That is who he's willing to sacrifice for. Mm-hmm. That's where it feels like, man, I love protecting and providing for this woman, and I know she would XYZ for me and our children and our family and our legacy. So that, to me, that's just a different kind of energy than saying that that men are the prize because they protect and provide. But we don't want to perpetuate the idea that men's value is wrapped in only protecting and providing.
Why not? That's why we,
because then you're not going to feel loved. You're not going to feel loved if I said I respect you only because you protect and you provide for me.
So men don't think like women, right? You can objectify us to that. You can put us to that. We are on earth on here for each other. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm not mad about you saying I'm supposed to protect and provide. It's the sisters that I'm tired of being objectified to a sexual object, or a housewife, or a homemaker. I want to do something outside of that. And typically what that is being a man. I want to make my own money. I want to get my own car. I want to get my own house, and I want to pursue my dreams. But we never see these dreams come to fruition. Most of what you see women do is go and get the guy that she can get that's the best deal, to get her nails done, get her feet done. She want to be a trophy wife. Where are all these dreams that a lot of our sisters are saying they're pursuing over being a homemaker and taking care of their men and children? So we should say men should be protecting and providing, but we need women who want to take care of the home and want to take care of their men and children. We should say that. Take all the social constructs away from here. What are we doing on earth? I ain't about to go love. It ain't about Adam and Steve. So it's Adam and Eve, right? Not Adam and Steve.
Sometimes it's Adam and Steve. I saw it on TV.
Yeah. Like it's just the nature of things. I think that's the biggest
Rick,
problem.
Rick, can we get short?
My bad, bro.
No, it's fine. Short intervention, and Doctor, uninterrupted because doctor is so cold. We freezing him out like crazy. Doctor is just looking at us like,
hey, forgive us, doctor. Please
no,
forgive us, man.
hey doctor, let me drop this man real quick. It's his fault. It's his responsibility. He's the host of the show. He's doing.
My bad, man.
Ricky, go ahead and then doctor, please uninterrupted, and then I'll read the super chats and I'll pass the microphone to Slice and Mr. Accountable Masculinity.
I got you. Thank you. My apologies.
Good.
I just think again, what we're looking at is just people trying to turn nature on its head and get rewarded for it. You know what I mean? Things are a certain way because they work a certain way. And the truth is, if we look at en masse, the culture that the modern women in the Western world are providing is totally against nature. Right? Nature is of God. It makes sense. The order makes sense. If it's a seed outside in the dirt and it rains, it's going to grow something, right? It's just how things supposed to work. And women are going against the grain and then want to blame us for it. Oh, y'all out here hitting chicks. That's what men do, right? What used to stop men from hitting chicks? Women saying no in chastity belts, right? 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 Or if I slid up in you, right? Your dad came into my door with a shotgun, right? It's what y'all supposed to control. And it's just crazy to me how y'all understand what men's supposed to do and the men's responsibility in this thing when y'all don't know y'all's. How's it's gonna never work? It's not until y'all honest about what really be going on. Hey, I like you a lot, right? But I'm really with you because you take care of me. Somebody I can count on. Right? For me to take care of you, you know what I'm saying? This is what I require. It's just that simple. It's your job to keep me out until it's time to keep me to let me in. And after I hit you, it's your job to make sure I stay there. You got to convince me as a woman that you're a wife. You. Because otherwise, I'll take my resources somewhere else. This is the way the game is played. The player's just trying to change it. But I digress.
Go ahead, doctor, uninterrupted. Then we read the super chats and we return with Slice and Accountable Masculinity.
All right. So
thank you for your patience, sir. I will apologize.
No, patience is a virtue. So a key thing that we were asking is why are these women unhappy? And I think the feminine women are happy, and I think the women who are unhappy are the masculine women, the women who have fell for feminism, and the women who are too far left, they're too liberal in their views. Like Tracy Ellis Ross, she was saying how when she goes on dates, men who don't agree with, homophobic, men who don't agree with homosexuality or the trans movement, she doesn't like those type of men. But masculine men who are conscious and understand what's going on in the Black community don't agree with that type of stuff. So a woman like her will be unhappy. The women who can't just sit back and let their man lead are unhappy. Michelle Obama, she's unhappy. She has to have a podcast now and be out in the forefront, even though her husband is the first Black male president of the United States of American history. We didn't see Coretta Scott King out talking. We didn't see Betty Shabazz out talking. Why does Michelle Obama feel the need to have a podcast where she needs to speak? Her legacy is in her feminine energy and her being seen, not heard. We don't need to hear from her. Her power is in the fact that she allowed that man to be successful and be America's first Black president while she took care of their 2 children. That's her legacy. Why does she feel the need to do other things now and be outspoken and say that she hated or she didn't get along with her husband for 5 to 10 years? We don't need to hear that from her. Black women who fell for the feminist movement, started by Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Stanton, those are the unhappy women. They're miserable. That was a white woman's fight with their white man. Black men had nothing to do with that, and they fell for it, and now they're arguing over rights and things that it's a fake argument. They're not being oppressed. That was a white woman's argument. Black women had nothing to do with it. The women who fell for that, they're miserable. It was started by lesbians and women who really hated men. one of the founders of the National Black Feminist Organization in 1973 was a black lesbian named Margaret Sloan. And she literally was a lesbian who wasn't even attracted to men. And so she pushed the agenda that women don't need men, and women ate it up. And those are the miserable women. So these are the ones who are miserable. And that's the ideology we need to stay away from. Someone has said something earlier about when you say, you know, I love you to a woman, and then they start acting differently and things like that. That's what I was talking about, where that makes certain men reluctant to say it now because they don't want the woman to switch up. But I say just be who you are and say what you need to say. If the woman reveals who she truly is, then you need to get her out of the way. The Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. But many of these women are just women, they're females, but they're not wives. A 304 isn't a good thing. You know, you got to have the traits of a wife. You got to be feminine. You got to be fit. You got to be friendly. You got to be nurturing. You got to be caring, understanding, a good communicator. That's a wife. So just finding any female who will sleep with you, it doesn't mean that you found a wife or you found a good thing. She has to have the characteristics, the morality, the integrity of a wife. And that's when you found a good thing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Doctor. Let me read the super chats real quick, and then we go to the main event, why we are here today. Sex, lies, and sentences. All men lose it all for woman. AD, once again, thank you very much for the generosity, the $25 for the Burger Fund. I appreciate you.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
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 The burger.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much. And thank you very much.
All right, folks. That is the nuts and bolts to the last week's conversation. And I just wanted to re-air it just in case you guys missed it. And, you know, I'll be on with my show live again in about an hour or so. If you haven't already, go ahead and, you know, click the link. I'm gonna drop a link in the chat so you guys know where to go to see tonight's episode. And we're gonna have an extended conversation because tonight's topic is about what do men need to do to protect themselves. And I'm gonna pull it up on the screen so you can kind of see some of the talking points that are gonna be discussed, that some of you guys have so generously contributed to already, you know. And the main point of it all is that these are the circumstances in an evolving conversation that need to be addressed. This is the agenda for the night. You know, what do men need to protect themselves from the most? Some people say the police, some people say propaganda, stupid decisions, taking blame, unnecessary blame, the government exploiting of blind spots, themselves, lust, laziness, finances, and paternity fraud. So, you guys leave your comments and feedback. You know, I read everything to the people that support what I do and what Accountable Masculinity is about. I greatly appreciate the way you guys show up and engage with the content on a regular basis. I do believe that we're about to push the agenda going forward in a healthy way, and that you guys are very, very key to everything working the way that it does. You know, I would like for you guys to engage with the platform, man. Come on camera and say your piece. Maybe it's some parts of the conversation that's missing. Aaron Ashley always has a lot to say. I appreciate the way she engages with the content as well. And, you know, I just want you guys to feel like you got ownership in this conversation too, because it doesn't go forward with just one or two people talking. It's not going to be a whole lot of people that's going to be pushing the the solutions oriented conversation with a plan. They're just going to sit back and criticize, and they're only going to just identify the shortcomings. But what are we going to do about it once we got the information? You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I greatly want to acknowledge, what I'm saying, the support that I've already gotten and the continued support that's still showing up. Let me answer one of Aaron Ash's questions. Said, feminism was initially about voting rights and owning property, not all about hating men. Women couldn't own bank accounts or apply credit until the 1970s. Yeah, I get that too. The necessity of where it started and where it's at are two different things now, but we're in the thick of it. Like, the history of it is one conversation all on its own. There's a whole different ideology and a different conversation. It's no different than any other particular group that's been trying to be recognized as an adequate, equitable citizen, right? What are we going to do with the information? Because we're not going to go back to those times, because the way that those times have set up, we're the fruit of the decisions that's already been made. So what are we going to do about it? That's the question. Just knowing where it came from is a start. That's necessary. But like, what's the point of identifying the history if we're not going to talk about what we need to do to push the agenda forward and actually make better decisions and create better trust with one another? Because I know what I care about, and it might not matter to everybody else, but I care about the foundational principles of just general respect, because we can't move anything forward if we don't have honest conversation and avoiding all this disingenuous circular discussion. And I know that is a big task, but I don't care about it outside of the people that I have mutual respect with, because we don't need that many people, man. We only need the right people. So you guys, if you haven't already got the book and you follow the content, go cop it, man. Accountable Masculinity. You know what I'm saying? Available on Amazon. Follow the YouTube channel. And what else? Yeah, if you already following on Facebook, like, share, subscribe, and repost. And I'm out. I'll see y'all guys later on.